Hello and welcome to our latest edition of the Sales Circle, where we intend to bring you lots of useful hints, tips, advice on everything to do with business growth, marketing and sales. I'm your host, Rob Spence, the Managing Director of Paragon Sales Solutions. And I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to introduce you this week's guest, Nik from Hardy Signs. Nik, good to see you.
Good to see you, Rob.
Good. No, thanks. Good. No, I said everything right there. I've introduced your business properly.
I think that was fantastic.
Perfect. End of podcast. Perfect. Well, look, really appreciate you travelling down. It's been about an hour's journey.
Yeah, about an hour from Burton-on-Trent, where we're based. Yeah.
Perfect. So tell me a bit about Hardy Signs. Tell me what you do, what you don't do, and everything.
Well, I'm the MD and the founder of the company. We're celebrating 30 years in business this year.
Congratulations.
We've got quite a few celebrations planned, and we're all excited about that. What we do, we do everything from initial concept through to design, manufacture, and ultimately installing signage, both locally in the Midlands and also further afield in the UK. Even branched out into Europe a few times.
Oh, fantastic. Do you get to go abroad when that happens?
I haven't as yet, but we do have a little bit of an interesting contract in Paris, which I might have to go and the survey for.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I hope the trip goes really... Amazing.
If I come back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been going nearly 30 years this year, so you've obviously had some sort of ups and downs and everything.
Yeah, we've come through one or two recessions, and lots of fun along the way, really.
Yeah.
But some really interesting times and no regrets.
Good. So I'll tell you what then. Let's take a little step back. Let's go back to the early days of Nik.
Yeah.
So obviously the business has been going 30 years. So you must have been about 30. You must have been 2 years old when the business set up. So
you're too kind, Rob.
Well, it's all the filters we use.
Of course, yeah.
So tell me about your early career. Why signage?
Why signage? 15 years old, I took a Saturday job with a friend of my father's who had a sign writing business in the town. And I used to go and just do a bit of cleaning them for him, just for a few pound pocket money, as you did in them days.
Yeah.
And then he kindly took me on a YTS scheme. Right, as a traditional sign writer, and I really cut my teeth at this company. I was there for 7 years, and I learnt everything about traditional signs, and also quite a bit of paint and decorating, which was predominantly what they did as a company. But interestingly, there was no computers on the firm then. Everything was done with these, which I still to this day I feel gave me a really good grounding in how to make a good sign and what looks good, what doesn't.
Yeah.
So I'm ever grateful of those days. Yeah.
Fantastic. So then there must have come a time then when you had this idea to start a business.
Yeah.
What happened there? What was the catalyst for that?
Okay. Yeah. Always a bit of an entrepreneur, I guess, at heart, and always thought if you want to make money, you've got to try and push the boundaries and go a bit further than most people. After 7 years, I knew I wanted to work for myself. I knew I wanted to, give it a go. And I remember my boss kept coming in at the time, and unfortunately his company was starting to go downhill a little bit. Right. They were losing some quite big contracts in the town. And so he offered me a position to go self-employed, because we're still getting the inquiries in for signage. So I bit his hand off really at the time. And sometimes, fate does deal you a lucky hand, and I felt that was the case. He continued to be my mentor, and we worked alongside each other. He even rented me space at his premises to get my business going, which was really kind.
Yeah.
Forever grateful of that opportunity.
That's fantastic. Do you feel that the business, you'd have had that same success? Because clearly the business has done really well over the 30 years. Had you have not been mentored or supported by this person?
No, probably. You can never say for sure, but ultimately, as many people as you've got on your side and as much experience as you've got behind you, the easier the journey potentially is, I would say.
Yeah.
Very lucky with my father as well. He was in business all his life and offered not only financial support in the beginning, but also words of wisdom, advice that, you know, a young bum like me just wouldn't have at the time. It was great. I'm lucky.
Good. So I guess that must have been a bit of a transition, because you've gone from this career where you were, for want of a better term, on the tools.
Yeah.
You know, I guess you had all your stenciling kits and everything else in between. And then you've then got to start a business where you're having to do everything, I'd assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've still had to deliver the work, but you've had to sell and get clients on. So how did you find that transition?
Very interesting. There was never really a spare hour in the day, 7 days a week. Like you say, all of a sudden, you've got to be everything to the business. You've got to do the job, you've got to go and fit it, you've got to come home and type the invoice, because everything's very old-fashioned in them days. Touch typing for the invoice. And ultimately then you've got to chase the money. When it comes in, you've got to go to the bank and pay it. Then you've got to go to the supplier to buy the vinyls. And I literally was 7 days. Wow, for a long time.
Yeah. And did you enjoy that kind of business development, that kind of salesy side of things?
I loved it.
Did you? Good.
Yeah. To this day, I love it. It's just in me now, you know. Yeah, fantastic. You know, and the buzz you get from within a sale, I'm sure you feel the same.
Still, yeah.
Particularly a new client, if you're bringing them on boord, it gives you a buzz.
Of course it does. It's very competitive. I always, you know, I think everyone correlates it to some kind of sport. It's like scoring the winning goal at the FA Cup, you know, and so on. You know, it's always a great feeling, I think, you know.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of competition out there for all of us, and you've got to try and keep yourself ahead of that competition.
Yeah. So, in terms of, I obviously don't want to show your age here a little bit, but I'd assume you now setting up a signage business with all the digital marketing and all the marketing platforms we've got now, they were quite limited to you back in those days, I would have thought. So how did you find your first clients? What methods did you use?
Wow, that's interesting. Thinking back, I would say word of mouth was probably the biggest advert you had.
Yeah.
I managed to buy a van in the early years, and obviously sign that up as a mobile advert. Occasionally we'd have a little advert in the paper, you know, the live. Of course, the Yellow Pages in them days was probably my biggest advertising spend in one.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, people would laugh now. We talk about things like that.
Well, I thought they were just used to stand on to kiss girls taller than you.
Indeed, yeah. But that's how people found the sign maker.
Yeah.
And the different trades they needed, if they didn't know anyone, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. That's brought back memories. You know, I remember the Yellow Pages when I was growing up. You know, it was that thick back in the day, and then you could literally see it year on year.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think they're anymore, are they? I don't think.
I've heard of them.
I don't know.
Time.
If you work for the Yellow Pages, drop a comment below. It'd be nice to know that you're doing all right.
Yeah.
So you started to
be in trouble.
Yeah, I know. So here come the lawyers. So you've started to generate your business and you know, grow your business and acquire clients.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of sort of then scaling that business, because you could have quite easily just been a one-man band or a one-person band and just got the business, done the work. But what stage do you think actually I can take this a step further?
Well, probably after 3 or 4 years, I decided that yes, I could have stayed as it was, made a good living, and you know, and still be doing the same thing now, I guess. But I've always thought to make any money, you need to employ people, and that's kind of a message I've had installed into me from the early days. I took an apprentice on after 3 or 4 years, and along with him, moved to my first industrial unit. And I remember it ever so well, walking into that empty shell, thinking, what have I done? You know, we'll never expand into this size, you know, me and the lad sort of thing. And then within a year or two, you get dictated to by your customer base.
Yeah.
You know, if I get 3 vans to do and it's just me doing them, and they want them in a day, who's going to help me?
Yeah.
So before long, I soon realised I needed to start investing in staff and trusting people, which is the hardest job when you first start in a business, you want people with the same passion that you've got, and that's not always an easy thing to have. But yeah, we were lucky along the way, really. We had some great people.
So that's a very valid point. You know, I'm a big believer in the team, and the team become the business,
Yes.
and your growth and everything else. But I've also been in the same position where you've taken your business and then you've got that team below you. Did you find delivering that, you know, or opening up that trust to your team to be easy, hard? Do you find it okay now? Do you find it tough now?
Yeah, I think you soon realise who you can trust and who will go the extra mile for you, and they are the staff that stay with you, you know, along the journey, and ultimately are rewarded for their loyalty, I guess.
Yeah. Absolutely. So in terms of signage, and we had an interesting chat before the camera started rolling, because I think whenever we talk about signage, I automatically just think about a sign on a shop from, you know, the sign that goes above the door kind of thing, which is still very relevant. But signage can bring a deep sense of brand and meaning to a business, can't it? Tell me about some of the customers you work with and why they sort of want signage inside the business. What do they look for?
Yeah, well, you always look for quality, of course. I mean, that goes without saying. But I think, you know, if they want help with their branding and their logo and their, you know, how they're perceived by their customers, that they do come to us and they do ask us what we think. And, you know, that's great to get involved in the early stages of the conception of logos and corporate identity. But ultimately, you know, there's customers out there and there's clients out there that are prepared to go the extra mile and to spend a little bit more money to get their look right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you find it with your business. You know, there's times when there's always something cheaper out there, and there's always something, quick and easy. But is that going to carry your brand through the next few years? Probably not. You know, it's
I think it's that whole debate of, you know, cost over value.
Yeah.
You know, we all know that if we pay a little bit more, we actually get more value. And the analogy, the analogy that's weirdly come to my head, I might be hungry, I don't know what it is. It's like buying a hamburger. Yes, I could go to McDonald's, buy a 99p burger, and it be a burger. Is it going to fill me up for long? Probably not. I'm probably going to be hungry within an hour.
Yeah.
What I could go spend £10 in a luxury restaurant for a burger and feel fuller and have everything else ingrained, and it is, like I say, that value over price.
I mean, you know, where we do score as well, in my opinion, is a lot of the big clients we have trust us to deliver not just quality, because everybody expects quality, but it's if things go wrong, you know, where are you? You know, if something went wrong, we're invariably there same day.
Right.
And particularly the bigger companies, that's invaluable to them.
Yeah.
You know, we've been around, like I said, nearly 30 years, and we've built a really good reputation amongst our clients and the public in general.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you see that there is still a time for signage and external advertisements in today's sort of digital-led world? Do you feel that companies should invest in external signage?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's the first thing you see when you enter a client's premises, and obviously the bigger the client, the bigger their exposure they want, and it's the first actual thing they see, and people's perceptions can be, I don't know, good or bad within the first couple of seconds of arriving on site. And it can be a little sign that tells you a directional sign to reception, or it can be the big branded logo on the actual side of the building. But, you know, as a sign company, we provide all them services. Yeah. So we're entrusted by a lot of people to do just that. You know.
Good. And were you impressed with our signs on our shop front? Were you happy with them?
Well, I missed it, and I drove straight past.
Okay, well, maybe they weren't, as you said. Maybe they're not so good after all.
I was going to talk to you after about them, actually.
Right, we'll cut that. We'll cut that bit out. I guess final question on Hardy Signs for a while then. So we've had this journey, you know, you've had the yellow pages and such, but in terms of now, what's been your sort of biggest catalyst for new clients and clientele? What marketing or sales channel have you found has really worked for you?
We've invested a lot of time and money in our online presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's obviously got the biggest reach possible. And also, unlike a lot of sign companies our size, we have 3 employees in the marketing department.
Yep.
I don't know many other sign companies that would invest that much time and resource into a whole department for marketing.
Yeah.
So we feel like we're scoring on the way with that exposure, and having the faith in the people to deliver it.
Absolutely. What was it? Was it Henry Ford that said if you stop advertising, stop marketing, it's like stopping a clock to stop time, isn't it? You've got to keep investing in it.
You have it. And at times, it doesn't always bear fruit straight away, but you've got to have faith.
Absolutely.
And you've got to have faith in the people that you employ to do it.
100%. So I know as well you're the the vice president of Burton Chamber, but you're previously the chairman. Is that the right term? The chairman?
Well, the president.
But
Yeah. Sounds a bit grander, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. Between 2018 and 21, so during the COVID years, actually.
Oh, wow.
I was head of the Burton Chamber.
Yeah.
Which was interesting. I had to try and rally the troops and amongst the membership, and keep everybody enthused.
Yeah.
During really difficult times, particularly for some sectors. I mean, we did take a hit ourselves during COVID, like most companies did, but we managed to paper the cracks by diversifying into lots of COVID-related signage and products.
Yeah.
So the printers were working overnight when we were allowed to go back to work.
Yeah.
Printing floor stickers and
there was all sorts, wasn't there? Yeah.
And things like that.
Even like the construction sites, their health and safety changed, less about wearing a hard hat, more to
wear a mask.
Wearing a mask, was it? Yeah.
I also bought a machine to manipulate and form clear acrylic.
Right, yeah.
Make sneeze guards for reception desks and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So that was really popular for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've made one in 2 years.
No.
The machine sits in the corner.
And touch wood, we never have to use that again.
Absolutely. But it certainly paid for itself, that investment.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, the Chamber as a whole, 'cause I know you also, part of your team is quite heavy in East Midlands Chamber of Commerce as well. So why have you because obviously it's a heavy investment in your time. You're a business owner, you're a director, you play a lot of golf, by the sounds of things, you've got trips to Paris. Why have you decided to invest so much time in the Chamber? What does that bring to the business?
It brings exposure.
Mm-hmm.
It brings a sense of community. And I think all these things add to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We meet lots of new contacts, and what some people don't always think of with these type of groups, you're not just advertising to the other members, you're advertising yourself to their customers, to their friends, to their family.
Yeah.
So before you know it, your name is top of the list when anybody talks about signage. And people often say to me, you're everywhere. I saw your van down on the south coast last week, and people do see it and they do recognise it, and then the recognition. It's a very simple logo we use. You've obviously seen it, but it is memorable, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like your branding, and full transparency to the viewer. This is the first time we've ever met face to face, and yet I feel aligned with what Hardy Signs does and your brand, because I do see you everywhere. Yeah. I see you out and about, which is fantastic. And for anyone watching this, maybe starting up a business or looking to start a business, and I know you might be a bit biased, but why should they join the Chamber of Commerce? What are the benefits to the business or the business people?
Culturally, you are joining a group of like-minded business people who are looking for the same things, looking for that same bit of advice or that same bit of help. There are grants out there to help you with your different areas of the business. And there's also experts who will come in and look at your business and help you along the way, all within your membership fee. On top of that, you've got your networking events to introduce your company to all the other members. So certainly in the early days, it's a must, I would say.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, into, I guess, coming on to my penultimate question, because I know there's a lot you do for the community. You know, we made some notes. You do a lot of work with Fountain School, which is a school for people with additional needs. Is that right?
Yeah, disabilities and special needs.
Yeah.
And personally, I do get a lot out of that. We've actually got a small group coming to the workshop in the next couple of months of students, and they're going to be assisting my guys to make the signage for their school.
Wow.
And that's going to be really rewarding, I know it is.
Yeah,
But, you know, sometimes some of these kids aren't given the opportunities when they're as capable as the next child. But
absolutely.
yeah. So that's going to be a nice time.
That'd be a great thing for them. So every day they'll be able to see their work.
Yes.
Pretty much, won't they?
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah. And we'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Doing that.
Exactly. So I guess the final question then to wrap up, and I did pre-warn you on this, so I'm hoping the answer is mind-bogglingly amazing. But
How about the academy?
of course, the Hardy Sign Academy, of course.
We can't miss
Sorry, yeah. Tell me about the Hardy Sign Academy.
Okay, yeah. Back in 2016, we partnered with Burton and South Derbyshire College.
Yeah.
Identifying a skills gap in the sector. You know, we just couldn't find apprentices or young learners to come into the business. And obviously, they are key to what we do, and if we want to expand and progress. So I say we partnered with the college and founded the Hardy Sign Print Academy, which basically we set up to bring apprentices through into the sector, and also to train them on some of the industry machinery that we have in our premises, and give them a head start when they come to our place and sign up for an apprenticeship. They've got that sort of foot in the door. They understand what a printer looks like.
Yeah.
They understand the software a little bit more, so they can really hit the ground running when they come to us. And we've had great success from the academy, and continue to have, you know, bringing the sign makers of the future through into the company.
Absolutely. I guess I love that, because to a degree, I don't want to put words in your mouth. It's like that. It's that entrepreneurial mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's a problem. You know, we've got a bit of a talent gap, or, you know, a bit of a stopgap on talent coming through. So how do we solve it? Let's make this academy. So no regrets on setting up.
No, not at all. I mean, it's cemented our relationship with the college as well, which has been mutually beneficial to both sides.
Good. Because I know you're an enterprise advisor for the college as well, aren't you? So,
Yes.
Yeah. So it helps develop everything together there.
Linking in industry to education has been a passion of mine for many years now, and will continue to be.
Good, fantastic. So if you could go back, so as you are now, if you could go back to that day one of business, day one of setting up, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, crikey. I guess some of the obvious thoughts in my head are never give up. Be prepared to work damn hard, because nothing comes easy, particularly in the early days. You know, you've really got to swim the ocean to get where you want to be. Don't be tempted to overspend on things. Very easy, you know, you win a good contract, you get paid a reasonable amount of profit. Don't think all that profit's yours, because there'll be people knocking your door off, your suppliers, you know, your income tax, rest of it. So I think be frugal in the early days. Do whatever you can yourself, just to keep your costs down.
Yeah.
Don't try and be too flash, I guess. And it's a long journey, but it's a worthwhile journey.
Yeah, I love every word you've said there. You know, we see it time and time again. Businesses start.
Yeah.
They don't see the rewards straight away within that first month, first year, sometimes first 2 years. And so they quit and they give up and they get allured by a salary somewhere else. But I love that. Don't give up, you know.
Yeah. It really is a marathon, but it's a marathon worth running.
Absolutely. Too right. Well, look, really appreciate you coming on today to chat to us. Really appreciate your time. For anyone wanting to kind of get in touch with you, get in contact with you or the business, how's best for them to do that?
Definitely. My personal email is n.hardy@hardysigns.co.uk, or pick up the the computer and put in hardysigns.co.uk, and you will easily get in touch with us.
Amazing, fantastic. And we will try and drop those links somewhere around the video, maybe below, probably above, who knows. But Nik, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. And thank you to you, the viewer, for joining us on this episode. It truly is a pleasure to be able to deliver these to you. If you are interested in building your own business, growing your business, improving your sales and everything else, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and share it with your friends, your colleagues, your peers, even your mum. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, all the best.